Some movies are just better off as short films. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel, #MovieBae. I am MovieBae, and in this video, I'm going to be doing an ending explained as well as a review over Blumhouse's first release of the year, y'all, entitled Night Swim 2024. Now, before I get too into it, though, I will have y'all drop down and hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Because here on MovieBae, I do reviews, reactions, and commentary to movies and television. And if that is the type of content that you like, you might as well hit the subscribe button and stick around. If you find yourself enjoying my commentary along the way, don't be afraid to give me a thumbs up. And of course, you're always welcome to leave your thoughts and opinions down below. So when I first saw the trailer for this movie, I was thinking, dope concept. I think it should just be a short though. So after having had seen the movie last night, I stand by what I said. This should have just remained a short. So after doing my research, I find out that Bryce McGuire is the screenwriter and director of this film, and it's based off of his short film with the same title, Night Swim. Of course, I had to go check it out, y'all, and it was okay. It was literally a short, like under 4 minutes. So it wasn't much story there in the first place. You have a woman swimming in her pool at night. She sees a figure. She comes up thinking it's her loved one. The figure's gone. She goes back down. The figure appears again. She comes back up. But this time the figure is still there. And it's inching closer and closer to her. Of course, she panics. The pool engulfs her and the power cuts out. The shot pans out. The power cuts back on. And the pool is empty. Cue the credits. Literally, that's all. So when it comes to expanding upon this short, you have so much wiggle room. And I honestly think that Bryce kind of got carried away with the wiggle room. But before I get too into it, let me tell y'all how I'm going to construct this video, and then we're going to get into the synopsis. So I'm going to do a quick recap of the movie, really quick, super summary, okay? Explain the ending, give my review, and then of course at the very end I'm going to tell you my rating over this film. So let's go ahead and get into the synopsis. The synopsis reads, forced into an early retirement by a degenerative illness, former baseball player Ray Waller, tongue twister, moves into a new house with his wife and 2 children. However, a dark secret from the home's past soon unleashes an evil force that drags the family into the depths of an inescapable terror. And of course, this film stars Wyatt Russell and Kerry Condon. So let's go ahead and get into a quick recap of the film. The movie begins with a young Asian girl, and we see her brother is sick. So she goes out to the pool at night to retrieve one of his toys, but she is engulfed by the swimming pool. Okay, that's the opening scene. I'll get into that a little bit later. So now we meet our family, the Waller family. We have Ray, Eve, Izzy, and Elliot. So Ray is our father, and he is a now retired baseball player because he was recently diagnosed with MS. And MS is, if you don't know, it's a disease in which the immune system eats away at the proactive covering of nerves. Okay, so he is no longer able to play baseball, and his whole journey throughout this movie is trying to cope with the fact that he's no longer going to play the sport that he loves. Okay, we have Eve, who since her husband has been out of work, she's now going to school online to become a special ed teacher. Izzy is a natural athlete, and Elliot is just trying to find his way through life. You have your dad, who's a baseball player, your sister, who's a natural athlete, and then you have you. Oh, Elliot. He's struggling, y'all. So they're house hunting, and they come across this house with a pool in the backyard. And Eve and Ray, they're sitting out there reminiscing about the pool. Eve talks about how she used to be scared of the water, etc., right? So once she leaves to go round up the kids, Ray sees a baseball in this pool. So he tries to reach over and get it, and he falls in, okay? So in my head, I'm thinking, no, bad omen, let's get out of here. He goes to get a checkup, and his MS is progressively getting worse. And the doctor recommends water therapy. So this is when Ray and Eve decide, you know what, let's go ahead and get the house with the pool. Boom. family moves in. Now, once they're in the pool, swimming, playing around, Ray starts to feel better. Like, he feels amazing when he's in the pool, and even outside of the pool, he's working out. He got his swing back. So it's something in the water that seems to be working miracles on Ray. Meanwhile, the pool is doing something else to the other family members, okay? Eve has her paranormal experience. So does Elliot, and so does Izzy. However, nobody wants to tell one another, nor Dad, because Dad is finally happy. In order to help his son make new friends with the baseball team, the family throws an entire neighborhood pool party, okay? This is when the realtor comes back in, and Eve, the wife, wants to inquire about the previous owners of this home. Of course, the realtor is always skeptical. Oh, I didn't know until you moved in. I bet you didn't. I bet you didn't. So the realtor finally shares that, yes, there was a little girl who died in this pool. And Eve says, was the little girl's name Rebecca? And it was, because her son told her about a little girl named Rebecca that was calling for her mom. So at this pool party, the dad has an episode where he accidentally almost kills one of his son's teammates. And of course, the party is over. With her newfound knowledge from the realtor and this episode with her husband, the mom, Eve, of course, has to have her research segment in a horror movie, right? She looks up the previous owners and she goes to find them to inquire about what happened with this pool. So when she goes and finds Kay, played by Jodie Long, who is from Hot Chick, y'all, I was like, oh my God, I know her. I had to look her up because it was driving me crazy. Anyhow, when she goes to see Kay, we find out that Kay is, she's older, so she's on a breathing tube, and her son is really, really successful, but there's no pictures in the house of a daughter. So when Eve inquires about the daughter, Kay acts like she doesn't know what's going on, and then later remembers and admits that she had to sacrifice her daughter's life in order to heal her sick son, in order for them to be successful throughout life. So we now find out what is going on with the water. It will heal somebody, but of course you're going to have a price to pay. Eve goes back home, and when she gets home, all hell has broken loose, okay? The dad is tripping. He's like possessed. Elliot finally thinks he sees their missing cat, and he tries to get the cat, falls into the damn pool. And you got Izzy and the dad having a show off because she's trying to call for help and he won't let her do it, or the entity will not let her do it. So the mom goes in to the pool, saves Elliot, pulls him out. Okay. Izzy had to beat the possession out of Dad. Okay. So now all 4 family members, they're good. They're on the surface. However, Elliot still has this like dark water, like the entity is like possessing him, because Elliot is supposed to be the sacrifice, okay? The dad realizes this, and he decides, I'm going to make the ultimate sacrifice by giving myself to the spirits, okay? And he walks into the water and is never seen again. By the way, I want to talk about that scene real quick. He walks into the water. He's sacrificing his life, y'all. He turns around to his family and tells them, don't look back. What? What? Like, you couldn't tell me I love you, keep y'all head up, sell the damn house. Like, that's your final words, don't look back. And he had never said that throughout the entire movie, so it wasn't a callback or anything. I was just like, weird final words, but go off, sis. So the ending explained is, let me go to my notes, y'all, for the ending explained. So the ending explained is, the dad is an ex-baseball player whose career has come to an abrupt end when he was diagnosed with MS. The family's new house has a pool, and this pool has a healing magic. However, with this blessing comes a curse or sacrifice. The pool tries to take the son as payment for healing the dad, but when the dad snaps out of his possession, he realizes what is happening, and he sacrifices himself to save his family. The same way that he was struggling to give up his career and dreams, he made the ultimate sacrifice to keep his family safe. When it comes down to the possession, because that's the thing I was scratching my head about afterwards, was the possession. why was Kay's eyes leaking black water? Why did the dad end up getting possessed? Is it just bad writing, or is there a reason? So the reason for the possession is the entity that's in the water will take over, I guess the person who is making the offers body in order to execute the sacrifice. Okay, so that's why they were having this like black water dripping from their face. However, if you look back at Kay, it's been years later. Her daughter has been gone. Her son is successful. They're wealthy. So why is she still overtaken by this entity? Well, my guess is that it never goes away. Even though you've paid your debt, you are still indebted to this spirit, if that makes sense. It's kind of like the people. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and get into my review for the movie. I'm going to do some pros, some cons, and then give y'all my overall rating. So my first pro is the concept. I had never seen a story that is about a pool, like a haunted pool or what have you. I've never seen that done before. You know, we've seen oceans and lakes, and as a person who is afraid of big bodies of water, nor can I swim, I was really intrigued about being afraid of the pool, because I am. Another pro was that it was shot well when it came down to the pool as a character, how it looked, the different dynamics they did underneath it, above it, around it, the sound effects. It was shot well. The pool as a character was well done. I personally enjoyed the plot twist of the movie. Like, I knew that it had to be a sacrifice, but when I found out that the mom knew she had to sacrifice her daughter and willingly did it, that's when I was like, damn, ruthless. Another thing I liked about this was some of the writing was good. Not all of it, but some of the writing was good. The family, they had this game where they'll flip a coin into the pool and they go down and fetch it. So like a wishing well. And then when we meet the pool guy, he tells them that this is well water. Your pool is built on, I guess, this old lake that was used as a wishing well, back in the day or whatever. So I liked how they had this game of the wishing well, and then you have this healing water. I liked how that played out. There were a couple of scenes that were good, but they were just too far and in between. So like when Wyatt, what's his name? Elliot. When Elliot was in the pool, I got like it flashbacks with Georgie sticking his hand in the sewer. So that was a good part. That part of that scene, that was good. And some of the scenes built tension, but I don't think they were supposed to really be the tension-filled scenes in the movie. Like when the dad unwrapped his hand and I was like, oh, I don't want to see it. Oh, nothing's on there. Or when he was playing baseball at his son's practice and I'm thinking he gonna throw his back out or something. Like, those weren't supposed to be the scary scenes, and it could be because I'm grown, but those were the scary scenes for me. Okay. My final pro, I think this is my final pro of the movie, is I enjoyed the message of this film. The theme was, with love comes sacrifice. Basically, what would you do for the ones, how far would you go for the ones that you love? Because there was sacrifice all throughout this movie. So the dad had to sacrifice his career when he got sick, and he had to finally settle down with his family. The wife had to sacrifice her career for his. And of course, the most obvious one at the end is him sacrificing his life so that his son could live. So I enjoyed the message of this movie. Now, let's go ahead and get into the cons. I'm going to try not to on this movie because as a writer, I understand it's your baby, but it's just when a movie is so close but no cigar, it really just it disheartens me. So when it comes to the cons of this movie, the balance was off. It was a slow burn, and I like that they developed the characters. I like that they had a message, but at the end of the day, it's a horror film. I need to see people dying up in here. Like, that's what I need to see. And we can have this good, heavy message, but it needs to be balanced with actual scary, suspenseful scenes. So that goes into my next con. This movie wasn't scary at all. I mean, I guess if you're like 13 years old and you tell your mom, hey, can you drop me off at the movies? Come pick me up at 9 type shit. Like, maybe you'll jump, but it's no Conjuring. Okay, it's no Conjuring. Like, be honest, would y'all be afraid of this? Like, come on, he looks like an overbaked gingerbread man. Like, who would really be afraid of this? Quit playing with me. And I feel like the reason why it wasn't scary, this leads into my next con, is that the villain of the movie wasn't consistent. At first it was the pool, then it was the water in the pool, then it's the spirits in the water in the pool, and now these spirits can possess the people that's in the water that's in the pool. It's like, it's just a Russian egg. Ain't that what that's called? Hatching egg dolls, whatever they're called. It was never ending. And like when I said earlier how his short film was so short that he had so much wiggle room, I feel like he was just wiggling all over, throwing stuff at the wall to see what's stuck, okay? And ultimately, it just left people feeling unfulfilled. Like, I wasn't happy with this movie. I could have known that, though, by the very first opening scene, that this wasn't going to be scary, because the opening scene of a movie, if you think back to Scream, that has one of the most iconic opening scenes, not even one, the most iconic opening scene of any horror movie, it was suspenseful. I didn't even know Casey Becker, and I was like, oh my God. Like, we felt for her and her parents, her mom with that scream, ah! Like, bro, like, that is a bomb open scene. So when the open scene prepares you, we're about to go there. The opening scene for Night Swim was so anticlimactic. I was like, is that it? Like, I didn't care about the family. I didn't care about what got the little girl or nothing like that. So that should have just told me, that should have just set the scene. And it did set the scene for how the movie was going to be. I already said it was slow. The kill count was low. Literally only 2 people died. The little girl at the beginning, the dad at the end. It's a 90-minute movie. You telling me somebody dies in the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes? That means 80 minutes of this movie is just nothing happening? Get out of here. Like, that's not, and I feel like it was because he was limited. This is my last con, limited to the pool. He was limited to the pool. So if you had done a haunted pool, somebody died there, so whoever swims in it, maybe they die. Maybe it's a skin-eating disease. Like, I don't know. But it's only so much you can do with just the pool. That's why I wish he probably would have just stuck with it's something in the water. And if it's something in the water, it shouldn't just be affecting this family. It should be affecting the town. That way you have more characters. You have more people that can die. You know what I'm saying? But if you're limited, this is all you have to work with. So with that being said, that's my overall review for this movie. My rating is a 5 out of 10 stars. And I say that because it was great concept, but it was limited with a low kill count, and it wasn't scary. You're writing a horror movie, and this is his directorial debut. So I feel like it's something that I'm sure he'll get better with it when it comes to building tension in a scene. I'm pretty sure he'll get better at it, but this was just not it. It was a January film. We all know how that goes. So what can you really expect? Thank y'all so much for tuning into my YouTube channel. Be sure you give me a thumbs up if you enjoy my commentary. Subscribe. Stick around, come back for more. And of course, leave your thoughts and opinions on Night Swim down below in the comments section. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.